for Ethan to say when he's ready.
Okay, this week is very big, and for the celebration of the Women's Week, I want to say a big thank you to Shirley Chisholm, the woman that really inspires me. She was the first African American female to make it to the state Congress in 1968. She stood for the whole female being a part of the conversations in politics, and she held her own. There's a famous quote that she said, that once you're born female, stereotyping begins. And that helps me as a transgender woman, that I've been through all these different journeys and experiences in my life, and people tend to judge me on the basis of being female. Now I'm going to segue into why I'm here this evening. It's so good to see a lot of you here. And the Women of Sage and the Sylvia Rivera Law Project and the Audrey Law Project has been supporting me with my idea. Now we know that demographic splitting has been sub-splitting the communities by demographics and putting us into subcategories, and the population of voters have been dwindling. A lot of voters aren't coming out to vote, and they don't know why they're not being a part of the electoral process. And as trans people and people of trans experience, we need to be a part of the electoral process. So the Women of Sage and the women and men of SRLP and the Audrey Law Project is coming on board to support the Transgender Voters Campaign 2016. Now I have Ms. Zena here with me, and Ms. Brooks Guzman, and Ms. Shabina. We're the Women of Sage. We're women older than 50 or just arriving at maturity, and we're doing things in the community, and this is where the Voters Campaign is going to begin. I'm Marcy Chase. This is my email and my telephone number. If you need to get in contact with me, this is my contact information. chasemarcy63.mc@gmail.com. My main telephone number is 917-403-9759. My message phone, which is an alternate number, is 347-595-8761. The coordinators of the Transgender Voters Campaign, which I also have two consultants. One is Olympia. She's with the Audrey Law Project's Trans Justice. She's one of the facilitators and coordinators over there. And I have Lala Bizanel. She's not here for this evening, but she's going to be working along with us, along with a lady from Transparent named Miss Lynessa Leggett Washington. And we have Brooke Serta, also one of the big head honchos, and Tanya Asapanza Walker. Now the motto is, voting is a privilege we all should respect. And why I say that is casting a vote speaks to your inclusion in the laws that are being made. We don't believe that when we go to the ballot place, the polling place, and we flip that little switch, that it's as if our signature is being affixed to the process. As transgender people, there's a whole bunch of rules and laws that we don't really fit into the mainstream of society. We're trying to break that barrier and re-educate our community why we need to be a part of this process. Now we have 6 months to get this campaign up and running, and I want to invite everybody in the community-based organizations and other people that you know to get on board. With Brooke Serta, Tanya Asapanza, Marcy Chase, and Zena Grandicelli. And Ms. Karima Fatima also has been on board with us working on this Transgender Voters Campaign. Remember, voting is a privilege we should all respect. There's also something that I want to throw out there for anybody out there. Who can tell me what the branches of governments are? There's someone in the audience that knows. There are 3 branches of government. Could you hand the camera? Okay.
Oh wait, we don't want to film that.
Executive, judicial, and legislative.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. Very good. Very good. Somebody knew. Okay. Why do we need to be a part of voting? Could somebody say why we need to be a part of voting? Do you want to answer? Oh, it's somebody that hasn't spoken. Can we hear from somebody that hasn't spoken? Young lady, what do you think that we need to be a part of the electoral process, and why do we need to be a part of the voting process? Why do you think that? Sure.
Yes.
I think because our voices need to be heard.
Wonderful.
Our views and opinions matter,
Yes.
And they're not being really looked at.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
And we have a really big population of trans people that we need to serve.
Very good, very good. Did everybody hear that?
Yes.
Did everybody agree that voices need to be heard, that we're part of the community, we're part of the society? And it segues into this other part. What does constituents mean? What does this mean? What is a constituent? If we're constituents, what does that mean? Anybody? Anybody? Constituent? Anybody? Okay, well, a constituent is a group of people that have an issue or have a problem. As the transgender community, we're not a part of the binary process and the legal process, and you know that we were not included into the lawmaking body.
Right.
So we are the constituents, we have problems all across the board, you know, from housing, education, employment opportunity, and I'm going to say to you that we all have a socio-political and economic responsibility to each other as a community. No matter where you live, I don't think a lot of people might agree with me, but even though that some girls might be a part of the sex trade industry, in their neighborhood, in doing that service, the monies are being spent in that community, so they're giving back to that community. And for those of you that may not like what I just said, trans people are a viable part of your community, and the voices need to be heard. It's not a choice, it's just a part of life for some trans women. You know, now targeting. What do you think targeting means?
Goal.
Goal. Any other words? Targeting.
Money.
Money.
Anybody else?
Anybody else?
A certain community.
A certain community. Like I was saying before, the subset, how they've been splitting us apart into categories and into subsets, and the population of voters are dwindling. I'm going to say to you that some people, especially a lot of people in our community, not because of choice, but because of circumstances, have been disenfranchised to vote because of the voting disenfranchisement laws. If you're in certain states like Florida, Kentucky, Maine, I know New Jersey is just rescinding it. I think Maine is going to rescind it. You know, places like that, if you have a felony, you cannot vote. There's up to like 280,000 people of color this year arriving at 18 that will not be allowed to vote, and that's something that we need to look at in our trans community and try to rescind that and try to figure out how we can get around the whole issue in getting them to be able to vote in that process. New York is slowly coming around, but we're not there yet. You know, we need them to come on board. You know, this is another part of the transgender voting campaign that I've been brainstorming, and all my community members are welcome to brainstorm with me. It's the Trans Voters Campaign, and we've broken it down into the CBOs, the HRAs, all the Board of Elections, which is going to be the umbrella of the Transgender Voters Campaign. Ms. Shea is going to be heading up the Brooklyn's office. Ms. Vina is going to be heading up the Manhattan office. Ms. Brookser is going to be doing Queens for immigrants and undocumented, and just Queens. I'm dealing with the Bronx office. And Lice is going to be working with me in the Bronx. We want to get the voters campaign information to colleges, trade schools. We have made a partnership with some students at John Jay College that came to do a training at the Anti-Violence Project. And the public advocate, Ms. James, had spoken to me, and she had said that she wanted to be a part of this venture. I have a wonderful lady that I've contacted in the Bronx. Her name is Ms. Lisa Gathis from the Bronx. She's one of the police people in the Bronx that she's been talking with me. And also, wonderfully, Sylvia Rivera Law Project, Sasha, has been very supportive. They have been supporting me in making this campaign come to life. Now I'm asking every one of you in the room who've given me their emails and their information to respond to my email. that we want you to be a collective part of planning this voters campaign. We have 6 months to go. We need transgender voters not only to cast a vote, but we also want transgender people to apply for polling jobs at these sites to be able to make the inclusiveness into the voting process in their community. All transgender people should be applying to be polling workers. I'm going to stress that. If you're transgender, apply to become a poll place worker.
Yes.
You can get it on the website, just go look it up, and you just go there, fill out your application, do your training, and become a poll worker, because if somebody sees you, there's a visibility there that is kind of welcoming, and you don't have to feel that transphobic, whatever feeling that you might be going through. I just want to tell each and every one of you, thank you for coming, and we're going to continue working on this. And at the end note, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Zena Randicelli.
Being a part of this, and I voted over the years, and I'm a veteran, I'm a trans woman who is very adamant about our community getting together and voting. Little does this community know that we're a power in the voting. We can be a very powerful power in electing our government officials and getting our issues, complaints, and rights heard. In handling the Manhattan office, I'm proud to have accepted that, because we have a lot of our trans brothers and sisters here in Manhattan. And anybody that's in this room right now that's willing to come in and sit down with me and work with me, we got our work cut out for us. Because we don't just have it over in the village, in the West Village, but all over Manhattan, including Harlem. So please, join us. This is important. We are a power. When it comes to electing our officials, we need to start being that power and having a say in who we have in office to get our points and our issues heard and fixed. Thank you.